Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL podcast channel. In this episode today, as you can see by the screen, we're doing a little Treyarch honoring as we get into the next Treyarch title. Finally, we're going to be ranking all the competitive maps from BO2 to Cold War, skipping out on BO1, just all Treyarch titles today. If you guys enjoy this one, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. Let's jump into it, Brock. How you doing today?
Oh, doing pretty good. It's a fine Monday here in Wisconsin. It's getting a little colder, which we hate to see. But good thing is COD comes out in less than a month.
Yeah, it's like the first gloomy day. Like we've honestly had for us, it's been like 60 every day. It's been a warm October. I mean, I know to some of you that probably sounds cold, but for us, 60s in October is like hot.
That's
Uh,
good.
and all of a sudden today, it was like it got cold, but it also got like dark and gloomy, and it felt like winter. It was like I was outside in the middle of the day, and it was like 45 degrees or something, and it was just clouds everywhere, and I was like, "Oh boy, we're about to hit Wisconsin winter time."
Yep, soon enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, but we're gonna do a tier list today, kind of like ramping up into like Treyarch mode, I guess. We were like thinking about doing like a all competitive maps tier list, maybe like a guns tier list. Maybe next week we'll do like a guns tier list. I mean, it's like obviously when we record the episode next week, it's going to be a little bit before the game comes out because we record Monday nights, so it's going to be a little bit before Black Ops 6. Got a sounds weird to say, but before BO6. So
hmm
it's tough, to plan the episode. We could do it after, but uh the way it works too, I go on a trip uh on the weekend, so it's a little tough with that. And then obviously Monday will probably just be, reacting to our thoughts in the game. So probably gonna do this map tier list, maybe a gun tier list, or maybe something else if we come up with a different idea. But I thought this was kind of fun since it's Treyarch's first game in 4 years somehow. To
This
just kind of go over their maps a little bit. But before we get into that, Brock, a couple random news things. The OpTic Dynasty um absolutely waxed OpTic Texas in a BO2 series.
it wasn't even close.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was also kind of funny to watch, like, people, like, freak out, like, "Oh my god, is the Optic Dynasty or is Optic Texas washed? Like, are they gonna suck this year?" It was just kind of funny to watch people go through those panic emotions. It's like, Jesus Christ, they were playing a fun match for, a BO2. Like, it's not that serious.
Yeah, and the Dynasty, what three of those players at the time were like the best players in Black Ops 2.
Yeah, Carbo was world champion, was absolutely elite. Crimsix won, like, a million events in a row, and Scump wasn't really winning much, but he was, like, one of the best players in the game.
Yeah.
Uh And like we said, I promise you, Optic Texas wasn't like just like locking in like they are for a match. It was for fun.
hmm
Apparently, like Scump and all the players were like complaining. They're like, "That's the last time we'll ever play BO2." Apparently, the aim assist was all messed up, and like I don't know, it just felt very weird for them.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I could see you go from the new CODs where the aim is like all like pretty hardcore compared to that game. It's gonna
Oh
feel real
yeah,
wonky, definitely.
when you play any of the CODs like pre CDL era, I feel like when like I could be wrong, but I feel like when MW19 hit, that's when like the aim assist felt like it took like a shift to like super OP, basically CDL era.
Yeah.
Is when, like, the aim assist took a turn to be, like, super OP, so it's like, you play any COD like, from before that, it takes, like I remember, like, I spawned in on, like, BO2 and started, like, shooting, and, like, the first couple lives, I was like, "Jesus, I can't shoot." Like,
Mhm.
'cause the aim assist is just so much lower, and obviously, like, at the time, like, I was fine with the game and everything, like, that's what I was used to, but, like, playing the recent games where the aim assist is just crazy and then going back to that, it is a drastic change, and you can see why players seem so much more accurate nowadays. Players probably are getting better, yes, of course, but, like, you can see why they're so much more accurate today because the game does aim a lot more for you now than
Yeah.
it did back in BO2.
Yeah. So, Dynasty waxing like you said, and it was pretty cool event overall.
It was fun. It was fun to see the Dynasty back up there as, like I mean, you and I have both been fans of competitive COD since before the Dynasty formed, but I would say for me, for sure, and I think for you as well, like, when we really got into COD, the Dynasty was, like, at their peak. Like, for me, Jetpacks was when I really,
hmm
really was watching, the competitive COD. Like, I watched before, but I wouldn't say I was, like, a fan, like, to a level where I'd wanna make a podcast about it or anything. Like,
Yeah.
uh, then when I really got into, like, AW, I was very interested, but, like, Black Ops 3 is really what did it for me. Like, when I started watching Black Ops 3, I was, like, locked in, like, my favorite game to play, like, probably of all time, and, like, just watching it is that and BO4 probably my 2 favorite games to ever watch, Black Ops 3 and 4. I think the Black Ops 4 season might have been, like, the best season, it was so good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
like, it's so, like, right in the peak of, like, my fandom of competitive COD was when the OpTic Dynasty was a thing. So it was cool to see them back playing because honestly, there was a stretch there where, like, when Crim and Formal were really beefing, we didn't really know if we were ever gonna see them play together again, like, even for fun or, uh, we assumed never on the actual, like, competitive level, but we never thought we'd even, like, see them get together for, like, podcasts and stuff. Now they've been on some watch parties and podcasts and all that stuff together. So it is fun because, like, they are, like, the greatest team we've ever watched, so it's fun to see them kinda back together for an event like that, and hearing the listening was, like, kinda cool. It was like a little throwback.
Yeah, definitely cool to see, and Crim and Forma squash their beef sitting right next to each other. I see right now on one of the
Yeah,
gaming posts, fist
yeah.
bumping. Yep,
It
love to
it
see
was
it.
it was like a blast into, like, childhood watching competitive COD. Because I mean, even, like, I was in, like, high school during the Dynasty years,
Yep.
maybe even, like, middle school for AW, I forget, but, like, high school for sure during, like, the Dynasty years, so kind of cool to see. Um, yeah, very, very, very interesting. Another thing I saw, Brock, speaking of high school and feeling old, was that Black Ops 4, this was like 2 days ago, Black Ops 4 turned 6 years old.
It is insane to think about.
Because you and I have both talked about numerous times how, like, some of our best memories on COD and, like, in any video game or just, like, some of my favorite memories with, like, friends, was my sophomore year of college, I believe was Black Ops 4, and
Yep.
just, like, playing so late into the night GBs before because rank play took, like, forever to come out, and then honestly, it ended up sucking. Like, the
Yeah.
actual no, like, playing it was very fun, but, like, the system was, like, terrible, and that's how good that game was because the system had, like, no reason for you to play, and we just
Yeah.
played constantly because we just loved it.
Yeah. We just literally played for hours and hours on end, and just some days, most days we winning like all these games. It was
Yeah.
just, like not losing for like a 4 or 5 hour stretch was so fun.
I mean, I remember, like, previously before that year, like, playing GBs, we were never, like, that good. Like, we were just, like, liked playing competitive. We were, like, an average at best team on GB, like, a good season for us would be going, like, 500. Like, if
Yeah.
we played 40 matches in a season, we went 20 and 20, that was really good, and then I remember, like, we played, fives with, like, our group and, like, we were, like, 110 and, like, we were, like, having crazy records, like, climbing the leaderboards, getting, like, the top 50, top 40 on the leaderboards for matches. Um,
Hmm.
and, like, we've told this story so many times in the podcast, but it was, like, it'd be, like, midnight, and I'd be like, "Huh," me and my roommate had like, a 8:55 class, 8:55 AM class or whatever, and we'd be like, "Alright, we'll play one more or until we lose or something," and thinking, like, we'd lose one of the next couple matches, go to bed around, like, 1 or whatever, and then all of a sudden it'd be, like, 4 AM, and we still hadn't lost, and we're like, "Well, we actually, like, have to at least try to, like, nap and get a couple
Yeah.
hours of sleep before we head to class," and we'd just be, like, grinding, and we would just never lose, and then, like, I remember we all, like, set aside time or, like, when rank play drops, like, that first night, it was, like, a Thursday night or whatever, we're like, "We're just gonna grind this," and, like, I remember we played, like, the entire night, and I think in the first season, we went undefeated, like, the first, like, 2-day ladder, I swear we all went, like 50 plus wins and 0 losses.
Yeah. It was just
Like,
you
we
know
were just, like we were in a low skill, like, skill base or whatever just because it was, like, the first weekend of it, and we were just running through our ladder. We never lost. I think the only loss we ended up getting to take us off our streak was, like, we got hit offline or, like, we lagged out or something.
yeah. Just we were just better at that point somehow.
Yeah, that game was something. So the fact that that game is 6 years old, like, it feels like just yesterday we were grinding that game and, like, we were so good. I'd say it's probably the best I've ever been at COD was Black Ops 4 running around with the SOG. The best
I
probably our team has ever been.
Yeah, I would say I felt like I was the best at that point in time.
Yeah, that was just, like, when we had, like, a consistent 5 we'd play with. We had a main AR that just, like, just did everything you could ask for of main AR, just
It was
spawns,
roll.
play slow, anchor, just do everything, and then we had, like, you on a Maddox who was just like playing for kills and getting all the kills, and then our other Maddox was my roommate, and he was like a perfect complement because he just like he knew his role as well. Like he was like I can shoot, but like he played objective really heavy.
Yep.
And then we had me and one of our other friends on the Sogs, and we both just like it was
You
like
guys ran it down.
two Abezies without the insane skill, just running at people.
Yep.
And we had pace, like everything just worked perfectly. That game was so fun. But 6 years old makes me feel like so old. That literally feels like not that long ago. We were just like grinding
I know
BO4 every night.
it doesn't feel like 6 years ago, but I mean that's like the best COD in the last 6 years, I'd say.
I wouldn't even say it's a competition, to be honest. I mean, like in terms of just strictly competitive, I mean, I'd say overall too, because zombies was pretty fun and stuff on it. But like in terms of just strictly competitive, it wipes the floor with MW19, with
All of them.
Vanguard, with Cold War, with MW2 and MW3. I think it's not even a competition. Black Ops 4 is certainly the best competitive game
Mhm.
since since it came out. Black Ops 4, there hasn't been a better game since it came out like that came out after it.
Yep.
You can
And
definitely make arguments for other games, but
yeah. And I was just, I just love the fact of how the specialists were in the games turns a unwinnable situation into a
yeah,
winnable.
it was cool for, like, fun, flashy plays and just, like, the meta, the gun meta was my favorite meta ever. It was, like, like, one of the only CODs ever, maybe the only COD ever where there was, like, such established guns. Like, the ICR was, like, the clear, like, turret posted up on a heady, anchor,
Yep.
main AR, and then, like, the Maddox was definitely, like, the best gun in the game, but it was, like, a do-it-all. Like, the ICR had an advantage from range, but the Maddox could rip you.
Mhm.
And it could even, like, rip a SOG from up close. It was perfect for, like, mid-range, and the SOG was just like a after the patch when it finally became hit scan, the SOG was just like a ripper up close, and, like, you could play so fast, you could move so well with it, like, it was so like, you had your defined subs, and you had, like, a mid-range gun, and then you had a slower main AR, and everything just, like, it just worked, it made sense, it was just like we haven't had a gun meta like that. It's probably my favorite gun meta in the
Yeah.
history of COD, for sure, and I
Mhm.
think you would agree. I mean, for me, my personal favorite competitive CODs to play, it's between that and Black Ops 3. Those are my 2 favorites all time to play.
Yeah. Those
Black
are
Ops 2 is probably 3rd, but Black Ops 2 just doesn't rank as high for me because I just wasn't very good at the time. I was like one of my first CODs I like playing, so I just wasn't very good at the game.
yeah. I would have to agree. I mean, played a lot, but maybe, weren't very good, so ranking is just kinda tough compared to the other ones that we were actually really good at.
Yeah. And that leads us into what we have on the screen here, Brock, talking about some of these throwback Treyarch games like Black Ops 3, Black Ops 4, Black Ops 2. On the screen here, you can see on the pictures of the maps below, we've got Black Ops 2 to Cold War, just the Treyarch games. So we wanted to do just the Treyarch games, kind of just obviously, we're going into a Treyarch game, going into
Mhm.
Black Ops 6, brand new Treyarch game, first one, like we said, since Cold War, which damn Cold War does feel like a long time ago. I will say that. Even though obviously it was more recent than Black Ops 4, Cold War does feel like it came out a long time ago to me. It feels like it's been like so long.
Yeah, Cold Wars was one of them.
It was a good game though.
Yeah,
Probably
I
the
would say
best game of the CDL era.
mm,
I know you
most
love Vanguard.
it probably was, but I'm just really biased towards Vanguard.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
I played it more.
objectively, definitely Cold War is the best competitive game in the CDL era. Personal biases aside for you and Vanguard and how much you love playing that game,
Yeah.
I think most people would say Cold War is objectively the best competitive game for sure. It's been a while since we've had it. Obviously, on this list, it's only the Treyarch games, like I said, because we're going to a Treyarch game, kind of a shout out to them. Also, it doesn't include BO1 because, like, I know all the BO1 maps as, like, pub maps, but I didn't play any of them competitively. Black Ops 1 was, like, truly the first COD I actually, like, played.
Yep.
Like, I had played MW2, MW or COD 4, like, whatever, like, here and there, but I didn't even, like, really own the games. I, like, has was just getting my Xbox around the time, and I was just grinding Halo 3. That was, like, my game. Um
Mhm.
like, the first COD I actually played, like, full time was Black Ops 1, so, I mean, I know the maps, like, if you show me all the pictures, I know the maps, I know how they were in pubs, but I just don't know how they were in competitive.
Yep.
So it's BO2 and on for Treyarch titles, and we're just ranking we'll talk about each mode. We're gonna rank them from the game they're originally from. So, like, we could have put Express, Raid, Standoff, those kind of maps in here twice, because they were technically played in Cold War as well, but we're just ranking them from their original game, because I feel like that's the most fair way to do it. So we're starting off. It's basically an alphabetical order. It should roughly be, but we'll just go in order that they're down below. The first one is Apocalypse, Brock. So obviously, it was introduced
Fuck.
partway through the year in Cold War, and was added in as, unless I'm wrong, it was just hardpoint map, right?
Yeah, just hardpoint.
Yeah. What do you think about Apocalypse?
Uh, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's like really that good. I think it's like kind of average.
Yeah, I feel like it's like average, but more towards the bottom. I think it's like a C tier map.
Yeah,
I
it
think it
was.
was it was fine. Like, I just remember like P2 being so hard to break. Like the spawns were really sticky and it was really easy to like rotate to and hold.
Yeah. I remember if you didn't really get set up or rotated first, you're just running into gunfights it just not wasn't a fun time really, especially
I
that
don't even
P2.
I don't even think P1, if you had those spawns, was that hard to hold. Like if you spawned on P2 side, you could like get yourself out to like an 80-point lead pretty quickly.
Yeah,
It,
it
it
was
was
pretty fast paced.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like when it got introduced to the game, it was a nice addition for Hardpoint to like spice things up and like make some changes to it. But like it definitely wasn't like anything like insane, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was serviceable, but yeah, I would say that on the underground hill in the two doorways only, that I hated that hill so much.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like in the it was like a really small hill in like the back corner of the map.
Yeah.
There was like a room above it as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that hill sucked. Overall, like the map really wasn't that good, but I will say like there are certainly maps that like if I was to load into them, even in Cold War, there's definitely a map that I would not want to load into at all in comparison
Hmm.
to Apocalypse. So I do feel like it has to stay above D, but it really wasn't a great map. It was a nice addition to the game, but not overall in the grand scheme of all these Treyarch maps, not that good.
Yeah. Maybe compared to like some of these other not Treyarch games, be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it would raise up to like a B tier overall in the grand scheme of things, but just ranking the Treyarch games is probably a little lower.
Yeah.
Brock, the next map is one of the first. I would just like I don't know why I just thought of this, but the next map on the list is one of the first maps that had like doors. Uh,
It is. Yeah.
that moved. I like they had like the automatic doors like going to mid and like on that like side room. It had like the automatic doors that would open up when you ran at them. It's
Yep.
Arsenal from Black Ops 4. I feel like this is a map that's really people are split on this map.
Yeah. I really love this map playing it.
I know you do. And I think you like it more than I do, but I like it.
I think so.
It was every mode in this game. It was hardpoint, search, and control.
Yep. For some reason, I just this map for me is like A A tier.
Yeah. Why do you have it A?
I have it A because I think all three modes on this map was very good to play, personally. And they have three lanes at the mid, left side, right side. And I think sniping was pretty fun on this map.
Yeah, the little grapple shots over and like that long range on the one side with like the plane and the blocks.
Yep. And a lot of like plays in the CDL
That's
or
true.
CCWL happened by this jet statue, which was very cool to see by the stairs and stuff.
Yeah. I do think I would be between A and B. I'm willing to put it A for now. I think I'll go with you. I know you liked Arsenal more than I did. I thought it was a good map.
Yeah.
Uh, I
The
don't think
only
I like it as much as you do, but I don't know. I'll put it A for now, and maybe we can like see if we feel like it doesn't deserve to be on the level of some of the other maps that go on A. We can move down, but I'm okay with it in A. I thought it was a really good map.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Let's
I
go
just didn't. You say let's go A.
A for now, and then at the end we can see
I
switching out.
just I don't like. I don't know something about it. Like I didn't love like I can't remember where A and B is, but the site with like the blocks. I didn't love that site for S and D because it was kind of just like if the sniper was like holding it down, you like basically couldn't push
Yeah.
unless you were like able to like stun him or like somehow like knock him off. But even in that game, it was so hard to knock a sniper off their position because like they could just stim. So like they weren't like, oh, you made them one shot, they have to back off for a second, you can cross now. It's like, oh, they just stim and they can still stare at it because they're full health.
Hmm.
So that was a little tough with that site. I remember we always had that play on the other site.
Yeah, the B site, I think it was.
Was it be on the top side of the map, like not the long block side where they're like they had the staircase down to the site that was in a little platform? There was like
Yeah.
a really deep corner, and I would lay down on it, and we would have one of our friends like over chow and, like, basically, like, show the other team that he was there, and the second they, like, shot at him, he would back off and, like, look like he gave up the site. They would all rush into the site. I'd be laying down. Nobody would ever check the corner, and I would rip, like, all 3 people that went into the site and, like, get the bomb down, and we would win every first defensive round that they came to be, just with
Yep.
me and him doing that strat. It was, like, one of the best strats I ever came up with, and
That
nobody ever checked that corner. Literally, obviously, they would check it every time after we did the play once, but it was like we pulled it out if we needed a guarantee a round. It was, like, literally a guaranteed defensive round.
yeah, it was the corner was just so deep. I
Yeah, and it
mean,
was such a weird corner that, like, I wouldn't check it if, like, I didn't randomly discover it.
yeah. Yeah, that was good.
Alright, Brock, next map. I feel like a lot of these BO3 and BO4 maps are gonna hold special places in either one or both of our hearts because, like, those 2 are our games, but this next map, I feel like the general public would rank lower than we would. It's Breach from Black Ops 3. This was in all 4 modes in that game, right? It was search, hardpoint, uplink, and there was CTF.
Yes.
It was, in my opinion, it was an excellent map.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Liked it. All 4 modes, pretty good overall.
I thought hardpoint was super fun on it. I think uplink was really fun on it. Like all the routes you could take in uplink, and there was a lot of throw spots. Like
Mhm.
the wall runs leading in. There was like a good wall run to lead in on like both sides to score on. CTF, you could take some good routes, but overall, like there was good power positions on mid. The 3 lanes were like very defined with like little wall runs to cut in between. I don't
Mhm.
want to get too much personal bias in it. I think it's like as much, like, as I love it and wanna be so biased and put it in, like, I do think it's a really good map that, like, there are a lot better, so I do think B is okay for it,
Yeah, we
unless
can
you
be
thought it
for
was better.
now. I thought it was good, but I think I rank Arsenal above it.
Would you put it in B, or you think it's somewhere else?
Um, I'd say, like, top of B.
Okay.
It was really good.
It was a, like, I wish we had a lot more maps like that today. That map was awesome, at its time.
Yeah. It's hard to argue all 4 modes being good on a map than having it lower than, like, a B, I feel like.
Yeah. I Brock, the next map, yeah, B is good for Breach, I think. We could obviously, if we start to think like a map stands out in a category too high or too low, we can move them around. But the next map, Brock, I think C is for Checkmate.
Yeah, this map was just it was okay.
I honestly think the only thing saving it from D tier for me is I think there are like at least a couple maps that I see in here that like to me are just like I would much rather play Checkmate than them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I could easily see having Checkmate in D tier, but for me at least, I'd I don't know. Checkmate could go in D tier by the end of this if it stands out, but I don't know. I just like it had what all game modes. It had search, control, and hardpoint. Control sucked on this map.
It did the under the plane
Uh,
stuff.
yeah, control was awful on this map. Hardpoint was honestly just like kind of meh, whatever. And
Yeah.
search was just so one sided and like going in the plane. And I don't know. The more I talk about this, I want to put it in D tier. It's either bottom of C or it's in D.
The search was so stupid because the bomb set was literally in the plane. People just wall bang you.
Honestly, I want to put this in D tier because I don't think we're gonna have that many more in D tier because Treyarch maps are pretty good.
Yeah, let's do it.
I hated this map. Your brother loves this map, which is kind of the funny part.
He sure does.
Your
'Cause
brother loves this map. This is like granted, this was like the first competitive game. He's a little younger than us.
yeah, that was his
And
first COD, really.
yeah, Cold War, like he like casual he was into other games because he was like pretty damn young before Cold War. So like he was into like other games, not COD. We got him to play COD with us, and he was like an Overwatch player before that.
Yeah.
Uh, and we got him to play COD with us in like Cold War for the first time. So granted, Cold War is his first game. You always have some bias, towards the one you play first. But Cold War is like his favorite COD, and Checkmate is like his favorite map. I think that's so funny. It's so sad.
Yeah, I mean, that's how your first COD really goes.
Yeah, but I'm okay with putting Checkmate in D tier. I didn't like it at all.
Yep.
We got Cow up next, Brock. Moscow. This
Moscow.
was what Hardpoint and Search.
Search.
There was no control, right? And I don't think so.
Mm, I thought
No, I
I
don't think
thought
there was.
there was control at the start of the game.
Yeah, I think they tested it out and it was terrible, so they didn't play it.
Yeah. So then, yeah, just searching hard point.
What do you think about Moscow?
Um, Personally, I thought it was so big, and I didn't. Personally, I didn't. I don't really. I'm not a big rotator of this map, so it was kind of tough on my tough to play sometimes because I feel like I was just running into gunfights, running 20 seconds to a hill.
Yeah.
But Search didn't play too bad, if I
They
remember
did shrink the
correct.
map out a little bit, I think, if I remember.
They did.
Uh, I I think it's C tier.
I think it's definitely better than Checkmate.
Yeah, I think in the realm of Cold War, I'd rather play it than Checkmate, but I don't think I would. I think I'd rather play Apocalypse Hardpoint as opposed to Moscow Hardpoint, and I know for a fact Moscow does not look right in the same tier as Breach. So I think C tier is fair.
Yep,
I think it definitely doesn't belong in the same tier as Breach, and I think it's definitely better than Checkmate. So I think C tier is good.
I like it.
Rock. Then we've got Evac, which was again in all four modes
Yep.
on Black Ops 3. Well, yeah, uplink, yep, uplink, CTF, search, and hardpoint. Once again, it's just like all these Black Ops 3 maps. I mean, I'm looking at the Black Ops 3 maps we have still to come on this list. Like,
All like
I
kind
know
of
I'm
good.
biased, but I loved them all, and I know there's bias there. But
Yeah,
I loved them all. I thought Evac was so fun. There was like so many wall runs and like plays you could make. The map was so balanced. Like Hardpoint was so fun on it. Uplink was super fun. There was a lot of
I
good
like it.
throwing spots.
Yep.
CTF for me has always been kind of whatever. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I thought S&D was really fun in this map as well. You could actually go to both sites decently balanced from what I can remember. I think it's at least a B tier.
Yeah, I'm agreeing.
I feel like it's on the same level as Breach though. I think it is a B tier.
Yeah. Now, like, would you rather play Evac over Breach
I
on all four
honestly like
modes?
I don't know. I kind of like put them in the same spot. I think Evac isn't I think that's unpopular opinion though. I don't think a lot of people liked Evac that much.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
But
we like it more than the general like population does.
yeah, I really love the was it the wall run with the overdrive? You go like from like one end on the to the
Yeah.
other in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about actually. I I don't know. I think it belongs in B because I can't say it's like I definitely think it's better than the maps that are in C tier.
Hmm.
And I think Arsenal is probably overall better map, and I don't think I could say Evac or Breach are like way better than the other because once again, this isn't like speaking from a objective point of view. This is completely subjective as to what we liked.
Yeah.
Like we could have a map that you think is S tier and D tier, and you're right for your opinion, and we're right for our opinion. Like this is completely just what we thought of the maps, not objectively ranking them. Because if we were
Yep.
objectively ranking them and like all the fan favorites, like standoff raid, they just instantly go to the top. This is how we enjoyed playing the maps.
Yep.
Uh, for
Jeez.
me, I think Evac goes in the B tier with Breach.
Hmm. Man, I'm just looking at these Black Ops 3 maps like you were. Like they're not bad, like any of them.
No, like I wish we could have maps like I think I see the one that I think is like the worst for Black Ops 3, but even that map, I would dream to have maps like that in our map set today.
Yeah. Jeez, yeah.
Um, the next map down here though, Brock, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think I like it way less than the general community does.
Yeah. I thought it was okay.
Dude, I think it's a C tier map. I'll put it above the two in C tier, but I think Express goes in C tier.
Yeah. I don't really like was the bomb site on the left side of the map.
Yeah, where you have like the high ground and the room to look over it.
Yeah, and then lockers are just I didn't really it was all right map. I don't like you said, I'm kind of with you on the consensus of people like the map, but I didn't think it was the best.
I don't think it's the worst map. I don't think it's a bad search map, but it was only there was CTF on it for a little bit though for sure in
Yep.
Black Ops 2.
Mhm.
I think there was hardpoint early in the game, but I think they eventually took hardpoint out. I could be mistaken though, because once again, like I said, BO2 like watching and playing, I played more towards the back half of the year and stuff, and like that was really when I was getting into competitive, like so I wasn't necessarily like super knowledgeable on it, but I I think there was hardpoint at one point, and then it was taken out. But I know like CTF and Searcher played on it. I think I wouldn't mind having it like in a game we play nowadays, but I really do think I would much rather be playing Evac and Breach.
Mhm. Yeah, there was hard points. I remember one of the hard points was in that like that tunnel area.
Mhm.
It was like so stupid half the time.
I could be wrong, but I think Hardpoint was eventually like taken out on that map. I don't think they played Hardpoint for the whole year. Once again, because I know like Hijacked, like that Hijacked is on this list, but at one point like Hijacked Hardpoint was in like league play. I remember it.
Yeah.
Like I remember
'Cause
people using the Remington shotgun, like on the underground hardpoint. You'd have a shotgun on each like ladder if you were a bot like us. I remember it,
Yeah, it definitely was.
but I think it got taken out. I think Express Hardpoint got taken out as well.
You probably I can't remember. It's been a very long time since we've played Express.
Rock this next map.
For me, I put it in S tier.
I think we got to be fair because I do think there are a lot better maps coming up. I think we have to go A.
Yeah, that was so good, so fast paced.
Good. I guess I just like feel like I can see the screenshots now. We have like if we have like standoff or like some of the all-time classic that everybody would put S tier like down in A or B, and then we have like frequency up in S, people are gonna be like, holy, you guys don't know COD. But like we said, this is completely biased. This is not an objective list. Like I will admit to you, like there are a couple maps like standoff is probably like a top two COD map ever made objectively. Like,
Yeah.
for competitive. Objectively, like, if you actually, like, look at it objectively, not biased, it's probably a top 2 COD map ever made. I'll tell you right now, just because of how good I was at the game in comparison to when I played Standoff, I would rather play Frequency just because it just, like, it was so fast and I was so good at the map.
hmm Hard point and search.
And I fully understand that Standoff is probably a better map, and I think you do too.
Yeah,
But, like, just, like, for our personal bias, I don't know. I don't think I can put it ahead of Arsenal. I will say, like, a whole tier above. I like it more than Arsenal. I'm willing to put it up in A. I don't know if I can go all the way to S. Maybe you can convince me as we go along here, but
man. Arsenal and frequency. Those are good maps. What do you think? What do you think about putting it above Arsenal?
yeah, I prefer it over Arsenal for sure.
Because
That's why I would
I'm down with that.
if our S tier is looking a little empty towards the end, I'd be willing to slide it up because of how much I enjoyed. Also, one of the funniest moments of ever playing competitive COD for me happened on this map. You know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
There is a moment in League, well, 2 actually. There's actually
Oh,
2.
the one I remember the one I think you we're both thinking of, by
Yeah,
the
there was actually
lower steps, the lower stairs.
yeah, there was actually 2 of them. So there's like the lower room where like the ladders went down into, and one of our friends just traced a body. Like, he had the
Whole
final kill
clip.
on Search and Destroy. He a full clip of an ICR, and for those of you that didn't play Black Ops 4, the ICR, well, you know, like we say, like, "Oh, that gun has no kick," when it has, like, a little recoil. Well, for those of you that didn't play Black Ops 4, you could use this thing called Grip 1 and Grip 2, which everybody used on the ICR, and it literally made it so the gun literally did not have recoil. Like, it shot in a I'm not even, like I'm not saying, like, it had no recoil in terms of, like, it had very little. It had 0.
Yeah,
Gunshot in
literally.
an exact straight line, and our friend literally traced all 30 bullets around a dude that was, like, barely he was just, like, shimmying, and he missed all 30 bullets and then got killed. It was one of the funniest, and he wasn't trolling, he wasn't, like, messing around, he was trying to kill the dude, and he missed all his entire clip on a dude that was almost standing still, and he had his aim assist on everything. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
It was definitely a experience to watch.
But then there was another point where we were playing with our 5 that we normally play with, who was a very good team. We were winning a frequency hard point, like, down to the wire. We were playing a really good team. It was close. It was like 245 or something. And it was on that lower hill around, like, the pillar.
Yeah, like, on the outside.
Not the one that's upper, not P1 that was around that pillar. The other side,
Yep,
opposite pillar,
yep.
lower. And obviously Black Ops 4 is 5v5. Like we were running at the hill, it was like 245, 245. We get like 4 kills, and like our friend had a lightning strike. He's like, "Should I use it? Should I use it?" And we were all screaming no in unison because we had just gotten a 4 wipe, and he just spam called it in out of panic, dropped all 3 strikes on the hill. He killed all 4 of us that were like near the hill because we were all just flooding because it was the end of the game, 245, 245. And there was like
Yep.
40 seconds left on the hill. So we were just flooding to take control. He streaked like everywhere around the hill as we were all screaming no. He killed all 4 of us. The other team just walked into the hill and won the game. He got a 4 piece on all 4 of his teammates.
That was I try to forget that, but, you brought it back up.
Uh, some of the funniest moments happened on this map, and there's a lot of bias. We could put it S by the end of the video, but for now we'll go top of A because we love this map.
Yep.
Rock, the next one's my favorite competitive map of all time. I will fight tooth and nail to get this thing in S tier.
You want S tier? So I'm down.
It's my favorite competitive map ever, I think.
This map is just so well rounded.
It was in every game mode, right? It was in CTF too, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And it was in uplink, it was in hardpoint, it was in search. Search, super balanced. You could go to both sites. It was really fun. Hardpoint, that's where it really shines for me. It's like one of the best hardpoint maps
Hmm.
ever made. Uplink was awesome. There were a lot of tough throw spots, a lot of stuff you could do. Search and destroy. There were crazy wall run snipes. It just an incredible map. Uh, I think it's S tier, just completely off personal bias. I always call it like maybe my favorite competitive map ever made. Fringe, I loved it. Black Ops 3, oh,
Hmm.
perfect.
I'm down. S tier. I love playing uplink with all the throw spots, especially the one over the barn.
Yeah, yeah, I might be able to be convinced to put frequency in S tier for the same reason because how fun it was. But I do think like when I look at the two, like I'm like, man, if I could pick a map to come back, it would be Fringe. Like
Yeah.
over frequency and Arsenal, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Obviously, it probably will never come back because there are a lot of spots that like hopping into the top barred window and the other house window. I
Yeah.
also remember when we got mapped by the Vesper. Was it the Vesper in this game?
Yeah, it was the Vesper with the like the Varix 3 sight on.
I remember we thought the dude was cheating. We like loaded into a game and like a dude mapped me top barn to the top house in search and destroy with a Vesper, and I was like, that dude has to be cheating. I don't know how he's cheating, but he is. And I watched the kill cam and he had like the Varix 3 sight on, and then everybody started using the Varix 3 for like a couple weeks because it was broken and it didn't recoil
Hmm.
on whatever gun you had. So people were just like mapping you with a sub, and then it got patched. But that map's incredible.
Yep. Agreed.
But Brock, we went from S tier to what damn near might be D tier. Garrison's up next.
Oh, I hated that one hard point. I don't remember what one was on Garrison and the bomb site.
His search sucked on this map too.
It did.
And then there was a hard point. One of the modes got taken out mid-year. What was the mode that got taken out of this map? Was it
Uh,
control?
I think it was control. Yeah, because the
Raid?
was it control?
There definitely was control at one point in all three modes were in. Control, hardpoint, and search were all in. I can't remember which mode, but one of them for 100% I know
I think it
got
was
taken out.
control because the control was a beast. The B control was just too OP for like the defenders.
Yeah, and then what was it like raid that replaced it or something?
Yeah,
Like
pretty
raid
sure.
came in
Yeah,
part of the year. I don't remember how it was, but I definitely remember one of the modes coming out. But even like search and destroy, it was so hard to get to bomb sites in this map. And
yeah,
hardpoint, like this map was it's C tier at best. I'm willing to put it down D tier because like I look at like Express, Apocalypse, and Moscow, and I'd be more excited to load into those than Garrison.
yeah. Let's go D because I hated the catwalk. The person you
Yeah,
could just look right into where you're spawning.
dude, I
See
remember there were
spawn.
in control. I remember too. There was this OP spot when you were on defense. I remember you would just like hide behind this box and not and like turn around, and they would all spawn right behind you. You could turn around and then kill them, and you could just dance between each side of the box. And I would just sit there and spawn kill people. I'd have a 74U, and I would just crouch behind the box. They would all spawn on me. I'd turn around, shoot them, kill them all, crouch back behind it, and I would just spawn kill them because they
Yep.
literally they would just spawn into my sights with their back to me. So they wouldn't have to like like whip around off spawn. It was free kills. I would just farm streaks.
Yep.
Brock, we're kind of into a little mid run here. I mean, these are basically in alphabetical order. We kind of hit a mid run here because next is gridlock.
Gridlock. Mm,
I think I see the exact spot for it on the list. I think it fits exactly into his spot, and I'm wondering where if you agree or not.
Gridlock. I don't. It was all right. C
I think
tier.
I think it goes right at the top of C tier. I'd rather play it than all the other maps in C tier, but definitely not than the maps in B tier.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't like terrible, but C tier fits perfectly.
It was hardpoint, it was control, it was search, right? Yeah, yeah, there was
Yep.
search on the map. Yep, that's where what's his name, Ricky, when he was coaching,
Oh yeah.
got the 1v2
Yep. I just remember the snap being when we played GBs. That one guy would always murk us with the I forget what three brace
swordfish.
gun. Yeah, the swordfish.
Yeah, there's a guy I remember his name is if you're somehow listening to this, his name was Foonies.
Yeah, he
That
was
was his
so
gamer
good with
tag.
that swordfish.
And it was like everybody at the time, you just used ICR, Maddox, and the SOG, and this dude just had a swordfish out, and he would just rip us. And with like to this, that's how This guy is probably some random dude that just like played GBs for fun. And to this day, we like talk about him in our Discord calls if we're playing COD. Like whenever anybody gets a kill with a burst weapon, it's like, oh, there he is. Like we just talk about that dude. So that dude, he doesn't even. It's like one of those random dudes. He doesn't even know it. He doesn't remember any of our gamer tags.
Mhm.
But we remember him. He's a legend.
Yeah.
That
Well, we
guy.
we probably played him at least, like, 10 times during when we played GBs a
Yeah.
lot.
And he was a legend. Like he was like, I think we like talked to him after one of the matches one time because we played him so many times too. And he was like, from what I remember, I think he was like a cool dude.
I think
And
so,
like,
yeah.
I wish he was like listening to this podcast somehow or something. And he's like, "Yo, I'm Foonies from back in Black Ops
He
4." So
comments.
yeah, because that dude, he was he. If you're out there and you somehow hear this, you were nasty with the swordfish. That dude was gross.
It was.
But the map, not it wasn't that good. I agree with C tier.
Yep.
Next one,
Ha
Brock,
Hacienda.
Hacienda. I know they're just mid. Just a
Kept
mid
it.
map.
I just really wanna put D tier for our search and destroy with our one friend.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know though. I do think it is as much bias as I have against. I do think it is C tier. I think it's better than Garrison and Checkmate.
Yeah.
Like Hardpoint wasn't terrible. Search wasn't terrible, but I definitely think it's once again below the maps on B tier. Those maps are kind of our measuring stick.
Yep. C tier.
Uh, Brock, we might just be on a run of loading up C tier. Hunted.
This map, I didn't really care for it, to be honest.
It was just search and destroy if I remember right,
Yes.
and it wasn't bad. Like it wasn't the worst. I've played a lot worse maps,
Yeah.
but it
I think it was a hard point out for, like, a stint in the
I
game.
I think they, like, before they, like, made the official rule set, I think they, like, tested uplink. I think that's what it was. I think they, like,
I think
tested
you're
uplink
right.
before the official rule set was out, but when the actual rule set was out in, like, the competitive season, it was just search and destroy.
Yeah, this map, we can go C tier.
It's definitely not bad. It's better than a lot of maps I played before in competitive COD, but it's also there's been so many that have been better. And once
Yeah.
again, I look at the other maps in C and I'm like, yeah, I can fit in with those. And I look at the maps in B and those maps, I like. I know from playing Black Ops 3 that like if I saw Breach or Evac loading up, I was way more excited than if I saw Hunted.
Yep.
We got another Black Ops 3 map, Brock, and it is Infection. This was uplink and search and maybe CT was CTF in this map?
Was it hard point?
No, there definitely wasn't Hardpoint, I know that.
C
I just
T
remember playing Search and Uplink for sure. I
I
don't know if
think that
CTF was on it.
I think just search and CTF, not
Oh, I
CTF,
know
uplink.
I was gonna say, I know Uplink for sure was on it.
I think just those 2 from what I remember. Yeah.
I think it's I see I think once again, this is a map that I think you and I like more
I
than
like playing search uplink definitely on this map.
I think this is a map that you and I like more than the general public.
Yeah. If
I think
I would put it in B.
I think it's definitely bottom of B. I would rather play the other 2.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed playing Defection though.
Yep. I like playing search.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like playing search on that more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It's
Uplink
pretty
was kind of fun,
solid.
but Search was really fun for me on that map.
Yep. The wall run spots on the outer.
Yeah, I feel like we had really good strategies in this map too when we played Search.
That
That's
also
what
was a map that one of our friends had a oopsie
yeah,
on.
he got turned on by the Weevil.
He sure did.
Uh, next map, Brock.
D.
Meltdown.
I don't care. I don't like this map.
Really?
I was not a fan when I played. Maybe it's because I was just bad.
I wasn't that
Probably
big of a fan either. I was gonna say C, but
we can put a
really,
C.
I was gonna say you look at it. I'll put it at the bottom of C just for you. But I was like, you look at it. I like look at it. and I'm like, I'd rather play that than Garrison. Check. It was
Maybe
only Search and Destroy though, right?
yeah,
It wasn't very good for me at least.
yeah,
But I don't think it was, like, the worst map ever. I don't know. I also, like I feel like I have bias for the BO3 and BO4 S&D maps because that was, like I'm an S&D person, like, I usually am the hard carry for our team in S&D and, like,
yeah,
shot caller and everything, and, like, eh, BO3 and BO4 S&D maps, like, just, like, live in my head rent free because I feel like BO3 like, before that, like, we were always pretty good at COD, but, like, in BO3 is when I started, like, hard carrying in Search. That's when, like, I was dropping double digits every map and, like Like, I would say even nowadays in Search and Destroy, like, if we play Search and Destroy and it's not over, like we get 6-0 or we 6-0, I would say in Search and Destroy, I'm like 8 plus kills a map usually.
Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
like, BO3 and BO4 was, like, my peak of just, like I was just, like, coming up with, like, watching, like, pro teams, just, like, coming up with wild strategies to try, and that was, like, the peak of, like, me trying to shot call crazy strats. Like, I had bait strats, like, sending 3 to a bomb site, causing so much, and then, like, it's a 3 on 4 on the other, like, on A site, then all of a sudden the bomb's planted at B, and
Yep.
they're like, "What the hell?" Like, I'm just doing bait strats and just, like, wild stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Um So I feel like I don't have as much love for the BO2 search maps just because it was before I really knew too much about search and destroy, so I didn't have the strategies.
Mhm.
Brock, we've got back-to-back search and destroy only maps coming up, and they suck, both of them. Miami's a D tier map.
The
Yeah, that map sucked. It was so huge and it just wasn't good.
I hated the beach part of that map.
Dude, both sites were hard to get in as an offense too.
Yeah.
So hard to
Just
play on the bottom. The map sucked, and payload sucked as well. And even though we love BO4, payload sucked. I think that's also D tier.
yeah, I did not like playing Payload Search or Miami whenever I saw those.
OpTic fans just like got a wave of PTSD when we said payload search.
Yep.
Because OpTic obviously blew the lead at champs in that map, but it sucked to play. Both maps were like impossible to get into a bomb site. I don't know. It wasn't fun. Neither of them
Yeah.
were fun.
Just no bueno.
Brock, I think the next map we're just saying for BO2 because we're saying that the original game it was on, although obviously this game was played or this map was also played competitively in Cold War. I feel like this has to go in S.
Yeah, it's
It's
like
like the
staple.
quintessential, it's like when you think of competitive COD, I would say it's like the map for most people. Like it's the best map ever made. And it's
Mhm.
not overrated. It's rightfully so. It is probably objectively the best competitive map ever made.
Yep.
And
It just
it's an awesome map.
it's just so well rounded, so good all modes.
Yeah, I mean, you played Control on it in Cold War. You played CTF on it in BO2. We played Hardpoint and Search on it in both. And like the bomb sites are balanced in Search and Destroy. You can like equally push both bomb sites, which nowadays is hard to come by
Yep.
on a lot of these maps. Like you can equally push both bomb sites. The Hardpoint rotations where you could break hills, but also like if you had a good rotation and like a good setup, you could really punish teams. And CTF back in Black Ops 2 was also still fun to play. Control was actually surprisingly fun. I'd say Control was probably the worst game mode
Yep.
on the map overall. But once again, we're mostly just talking about it here in BO2. But it's so well rounded. Like it's the perfect combination of like money hills, but they're also breakable and search and destroy. The bomb sites are balanced. You can have such good strats. Just overall an incredible map.
Mhm. Agreed.
I mean, I think that most of the community would agree that that's uh,
Yep.
certainly an S tier map. Probably like the most unanimous S tier map that won't cause that much arguing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, all right, next one, Redwood, Brock.
Redwood.
I think
Hmm.
we like this way more than most people.
Yeah, I think we do. Yeah. I I like this map, but I would say I feel like I never really did good on this map when we played.
Yeah, that people I know hate it because like all the crazy wall runs you can do on the trees. I feel like I really like Redwood, but I think it's probably more of a C tier map.
Yeah, our one friend loves this map.
Yeah, I actually really like it too, but I think most people don't like it to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, see,
You want it C or B?
we can put C.
I feel like we're being pretty harsh on a lot of these maps, but we're saving the top end for like the best of the best. I do feel like we do have some pretty good maps coming up though.
Yep.
Uh, See now this might be so biased, but where do you have Seaside? Seaside's the next map.
Seaside. Just thinking biasly for us, at least B.
Yeah, I know people don't like Seaside that much, but dude, I loved Seaside. I want to put Seaside in A, bottom of A.
The
Black Ops 4,
control was so
Black
good
Ops
too.
4 bias is here. We just triple up BO4 maps in A.
Yep, do it.
Dude, it was
Uh,
so fun. We had so it was you know why it was so fun and why I have so many good memories too? It's because this map was, like, made for people to have comebacks on because it was really easy to chain hills.
Yep,
So many insane comebacks. I know pros don't like this map that much, but, like, as a spectator, it was always one of the best hardpoint maps because so many insane comebacks happen on it because it was so easy to chain hills that, like, you'd be down 150 points, but you could just chain 150 right back at them.
yep. It was just it was pretty good overall.
Absolutely. Uh, the next map, Brock, is Slums from Black Ops 2.
Slums.
It was what, hardpoint and capture the flag. There was no search in this map, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I know it was for sure CTF and hardpoint. Hardpoint was very fun on it.
Yep.
What do you
CTF
have for this one?
CTF wasn't bad either. Um, trying to think. I I like this map, but I feel like I just don't love it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely above C, but I think it's more towards B.
Yeah, I don't think it's A tier.
Yeah, I'm good with putting it in B.
I like B tier for slums.
Okay. Next one's standoff, Brock.
A
So this is one that like I think benefits even more than Raid from us judging it from its original game because I don't think standoff play like incredibly well in Cold War, in my opinion.
yeah, it was all right.
In Black Ops 2, though, I mean, Hardpoint, incredible. Search, incredible. CTF, incredible. I feel like this is an S tier map because in Black Ops 2, it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a
Yep.
map.
I remember playing this map so much and just loving it.
It was an incredible map.
Agreed. S tier.
Then Stronghold from BO3. I have some incredible bias towards this map. I think it's an A tier map. I loved playing this map. Search and Optic
Um,
fans, once again, look away.
yeah, please look away if you're an Optic fan from the past.
Probably the worst Optic memory, probably in Optic history, COD wise at least.
Yep.
Assault coming over the top, killing formal. But so the way I look at it is I think like I loved Breach and Evac, but I think Stronghold, I love Stronghold uplink was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Stronghold CTF was really fun. Stronghold Hardpoint was incredibly fun. And I think Search and Destroy was pretty damn good in this map. Uh, I guess.
A tier.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it's S. I don't think it's on the level of those. It's making me want to put Breach up a tier into A to go with it because like looking at it, I'm like, I do like Breach.
Uh, well, we can definitely do that. I mean, both. I feel like those two are kind of like the same. Those two maps, definitely.
And then yeah, I'll put Breach up. I'll move Breach up to A with it then.
All right.
We'll keep Evac down in B, even though I love Evac.
Mm-hmm.
And the last map, Brock, Yemen, which was only hardpoint. I didn't love it, but it definitely wasn't
It's
the
not.
worst.
It's not D. I don't feel like.
No, it's definitely C or B.
I'm kind of with you. I at the time I didn't really love it. Love playing it.
I actually want to customize this way more to be our list. I really want to like. It looks so weird with not having like at least four up in B tier. I want to slide. I want to slide one of our three maps in the top of C up to B. Between I don't like Gridlock or I want to slide Redwood up to B.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Just because like we have so many good memories on that map, even though it's really not that good. And I think Yemen can go in C.
Yep. Yeah.
I think
Yemen was. It was
it
all
was.
right. All right.
I certainly would take it over a lot of hard points we played in the CDL era.
Yep. That's
But
the
once again,
who's the best in the game.
yeah, that's maybe Scump's.
Iconic clip.
Yeah, maybe Scump's most iconic clip from in
Yeah.
match, one of them at least. But
Hmm.
that
What
does it.
listening?
Yeah, that does it for this list though. We got S tier. We have Fringe, Raid and Standoff. A tier. We've got Frequency, Arsenal, Seaside, Stronghold, and Breach. B tier. We got Evac, Slums, Infection, and Redwood. In the C tier, we got a loaded tier of Gridlock, Hacienda, Haunted, Yemen, Express, Apocalypse, Moscow, and the Meltdown. And then in the D tier, we've got Checkmate, Garrison, Payload, and Miami. So I would say kind of a funny trend. So like in S tier, we've got a BO3 and a couple BO2s. In A tier, it's 3 BO4s and 2 BO3s. In B tier, it's uh 3 BO3s and a BO2. And then
Mhm.
in C tier, it's what, one, two, 2 BO4s, 1 BO3, 3 BO2s, a couple Cold Wars, and then in D tier, it's all Cold Wars and a Black Ops 4. So kind of funny. The trend definitely fits is like you and I, our three favorite games probably in terms of competitive are Black Ops 2, 3, and 4. And the
Yep.
top of the list is loaded with that. And we love Cold War, but I do feel like when you hold the Cold War maps up against Black Ops 2, 3, and 4, they're not at that level.
Yep. I agree.
Not a knock on Cold War though, because once again, Cold War was a very good game, but the maps just aren't
Mhm.
on the level of the Black Ops, the 3 Black Ops games that came right before it.
Yep.
That was
I
fun though.
like the list.
I like the list overall too. There are a couple like biased things like I wouldn't mind throwing like frequency and S tier. Even the way that we loved Seaside Hardpoint, that's like maybe an S tier. But I do feel like Standoff and Raid are just so much better objectively that like it's hard not to have them up there. But maybe sometime this is something we could do with all competitive maps. The issue for us is like there are certain games we didn't play as much. Like we didn't play as much AW, IW, or like Ghosts. So like or
Yep.
MW19. Like there are certain games where like we watched, but we just like didn't play as much. So it's so hard for us to rank a lot of those because like early on for us, like we would play GBs and IW, but since they like never came out with a ranked mode, it was like hard for us to like what we were gonna do. We weren't a pro team, and
Yeah,
there
we
was no
did.
just like ranked playlist that was easy to hop on. Like it was a hassle to find GB matches and stuff.
Yeah. So I kinda killed the game for us.
Yeah, so it's tough for us to do all maps ever, and also like there are certain like I didn't play much Ghost competitive
Mhm.
or really IW like we said, or even like AW a lot. So it's tough for us to go
Yeah.
through and rank a lot of these games when we just don't have the knowledge of them. So and I also thought like a Treyarch one would be fun since we're leading into a Treyarch game.
Yeah. And we all play the track games. It's a lot.
Yeah, I mean every Treyarch game I've played a very good amount of ranked play on, and
Yep.
I hope to play a lot on this one coming out.
Yep. Me too. Hopefully the same. Not hopefully. We know this will be a good game.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it, but Treyarch has never failed us. Probably the worst competitive game they've released since Black Ops 2 is Cold War, and it was still a very good game.
Yep.
So
So should be a good year.
hopefully you're in for a good year, and hopefully you guys like this one. If you did like this video, be sure to drop a like on it, leave a comment, subscribe. If you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a 5-star review. We'll be back next week. It'll be our last episode before Black Ops 6 is officially released. Obviously, we're not in the CDL season, but all of a sudden, Brock, a couple months, it'll be here before you know it. This offseason definitely seems shorter with EWC.
It
Uh,
did.
and with the game coming out. So we'll be back. I mean, before you know it, all of a sudden we'll be having scrims and matches and stuff. So we'll see
Mhm.
you guys next week. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do. It honestly might be a shorter episode. Like I said, like some of these episodes, like this one, ran a little longer, but overall, it might be just like, hey, Brock and I are going to do a tier list, or hey, we're going to do this draft, or hey, we're going to like talk about this random subject. And it might only be like random 15 to 20-minute episodes coming up or something, depending on how much if we have like a map tier list like this where you have a lot to talk about, there might be a lot, but it might be a lot of shorter episodes coming up uh, in the off season because it's hard for us to sit here and yap when there's no matches and not a lot going on.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.